Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Your Bishop again. I just wanted to clarify something on my last video regarding the whole transgender thing, transsexual thing. I know I sound very hateful and just extremely pissed off. And I'm going to be honest, part of me is about all that. It is. It really is. I've been in the trenches battling this a long time. I really have. And it's always been about free speech for me. I don't care, honestly, about... Like I specified in my last video, I don't really care about feelings. I think that they're, in many cases, irrational and fleeting. In some cases they are irrational, but in many cases I find they're irrational. And I suppose my beef with the trans community is that, okay, fine. Yes, there are probably these people within the community that do identify as X, Y, or Z, and dear God, that's a horrible texture. Well, okay, that's not cool. But in any case, I recognize that there are most likely people within the transsexual community, transgender, whatever. I understand they are two different people, and it's largely the transgenders I have a beef with, because they demand all these pronouns and thousands of genders, and they're trying to erode free speech, so you just cannot say anything they don't like. Which is a dangerous precedent, by the way. Okay, it's basically the same as the anti-blasphemy laws. Oh, you can't say this, well, just because it's potentially offensive. Even if it's a valid criticism. That's something I have always hated. It's only until... And I've spoken up several times on social media. It's just now that I put it in video form. I admit it's not a terribly good video, but looking at this... I'm not a big studio. Hell, I'm not even financially well off. I mean, I'm a student going to school right now to try and get into this field, obviously. But at this point in time, I just don't have the budget. Anyway, so, sorry, off track. My point is, I have been battling this for so long. This fight for free speech on multiple fronts. It's gotten to the point where I just hear someone who claims to be from a certain community, like the trans community, and I just want to fire Death Star laser and just blast them clear into oblivion. And it shouldn't be like that. I should be like I used to be, especially with being open-minded. Because before this fire started, basically, I was a fence sitter. Okay, I didn't really have too much in the sway of political opinions. Not too much in the way of I didn't care. Okay, heck, I even took my one ex to, I can't remember what it was. It was some big gathering of gays and transsexual people. I mean, there were like full-on drag queens and everything there, which I'm not sure why you would want to be treated and then flaunt everything out in public, but fine, whatever. I was there. I guess a sort of pseudo-gay pride parade thing. It was in the park, just about a block, I'd like to say a block away from here. Anyway, I went there. Yeah, I was a little uncomfortable, I'm not gonna lie. Just I'm not used to being around that sort of environment. But, you know, I didn't yell at anybody or try and chastise them. I asked a few questions, and most of them were fairly accommodating to me. So back then, I didn't really have any negative opinions one way or another. And after talking to some of the people, it's like, oh, okay, well, it's a harmless lifestyle choice. What it'll do. Next, I didn't care. But then I started seeing all this stuff about these trans people, or trans trenders. I'm going to just put that out there. These people are trans trenders. This is a fashion statement for them. And I thought to myself in the beginning, okay, fine, whatever. I figured that they were like the goths and emo kids who like to stand out. Okay, harmless. But that, as we all know, it didn't stay that way. At some point, they started, I guess, infiltrating the trans community and then shouting down actual trans people. Like, they were the ones who screamed the loudest. And I do mean scream in the most literal sense in some cases. Just, oh my god, shut the hell up. That's the stuff. At first I was laughing, but then I started seeing that, you know, lawmakers were starting to pay attention, and universities and colleges were starting to pay attention, and starting to give these people what they wanted. And I'm thinking to myself, oh shit. That's literally what it was. At that point, when I started seeing lawmakers and politicians and all these other people, all these people in power, positions of power and influence, starting to give these lunatics the ability to gag others. That was the oh shit moment. Or I just said, okay, this has got to stop. And yeah, it really was at that point in time I started fighting. Sorry. I started fighting back. I started arguing against these people. And I saw this more and more and more. And it was a tidal wave of this stuff. It was a tidal wave of bullshit. And it was like for every one voice I heard in their community and within the trans community or whatever talking, trying to bring common sense to this whole discussion, there were like 10 lunatics like Riley Dennis saying, oh, well, if you don't agree with me, you're just a bigot. And I just got more pissed off and fought harder, got more pissed off, and eventually and I'm not the only one. I'm pretty sure there are many more like me. Centrists that eventually they got sick of all the screaming and just wanted to, in one voice, backhand every last single person in the trans movement, regardless. Okay, it turned from being. It honestly did turn from wanting to surgically cut out the cancer to just nuke the whole thing from orbit and be done with it. That's literally what happened. Over time, I'm not exactly sure when it happened, when I got this way. I'm not saying I'm like sick or anything, like I talk like I have a disease or something. I have just heard the same arguments and the same bigotry and the same cry-bullying over and over and over again. And it's just that part of me, that's it. And it's gotten to the point where I'm just like, shut the fuck up! Oh, gosh. That's the thing. I'm a part of many, like, say, fandoms, or heck, even religious faith. I used to be a Christian. Let's take Christianity, for example. I used to be a Christian at one point in time in my life. Not anymore, because, well, here, there, I'm just agnostic. I'm not sure. But the point is, even though I have the Imperial Truth as my religion of choice on my Facebook, but whatever. I heard I used to be a Christian up until I realized I actually met the religious nuts who blamed everything on religion or lack thereof. And then I just left. No, don't want to be a part of this, don't care. Nope, not having this anymore. And then eventually, I mean, I'm still never probably going back to Christianity. I probably never will because of those experiences. But I can imagine it's the same for the transsexuals. You probably, the true ones, the moderates, the decent ones that just want to be left alone. You want to live your life the way you want to, and just want to be left alone. Same with me in Christianity, when I was. The difference, of course, between you and me is the fact that I can just abandon a religious faith, no problem. You're kind of stuck in your body. A person is kind of stuck in their body, so that makes it just a teensy bit more difficult. So you're pretty much forced into grabbing swords and shields and forming a phalanx, as where I could just bail. And you know what? That really sucks. That really does suck. And you know what? I feel for you on that one. But, well, not but. It's the very fact that people like me, people who were just fence sitters, all those of us who just thought what you have right now is just a lifestyle choice and it's harmless. We didn't care. We were quite content to let you live your lives free of persecution. But these trans trenders, these lunatics, the ones who are eroding our free speech, well, they're the ones that are turning up. They're the ones that are turning moderates like myself. I'm not saying I'm hateful now, like super hateful now. I just am a bit apathetic. Well, a lot apathetic. But there are the moderates out there that have been turned into... Like, you hear about people screaming not about neo-Nazis left and right. These fucking lunatics in your community, they're the ones pushing the moderates and centrists to that camp. Because they're being persecuted just for having a difference of opinion. And these radical groups, their numbers are growing. And if you don't stop it, I mean, I'll gladly lend my voice to help you if you're willing to fight. But unless you can stop these people, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. I mean, you know what's going to happen. I don't even have to say it. You and I both know what's going to happen. So, that's my story. And why I made my last video. And why it sounded just so super pissed off. So, feel free to reach out to me, Jaeger Bishop, on social media, that's Facebook, or even just leave a comment in the section of this video, or the one before it, which I'm pretty sure the one before it's going to get a lot more vocal pushback, because I didn't exactly present myself very well, I'll admit. But this is my story. This is the reality. So, all I ask is, what are you going to do about it? And I look forward to hearing from any of you transsexuals, that want to fight back against this. Or even just the moderates who, maybe like me, are burned out. And just think, fuck it, nuke it from orbit. And let God sort them out, sort of deal. Until next time, I have been Jaeger Bishop. And that was my story of the trans community. My experiences with the trans community. Thank you, good luck, and goodbye.